My first job was handing out flyers. One thing I learned was that people don't want flyers. When someone takes one, you're like, thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Chinenye and I play Viv from Sex Education.
Hello, I'm Aimee and I play Aimee in Sex Education.
And these are some of our firsts.
Yeah, my first day on a set was for Sex Education. It was the first screen job that I got. We were filming The Party, season 1, at Aimee's house. And I just remember being so nervous, but also so excited because everyone was together. It was so exciting. And I remember just clinging to Shooty for dear life. We were just like walking around like this because we were both so nervous. But it was great. It was the perfect first week, I think, doing The Party.
My first day, it was a really easy scene. Came in, I don't think anyone else was there. It was just me and Ang and a couple of other ADs. And the scene was just me looking into the distance at Jackson, who wasn't actually there. So I was basically alone on my first day. Yeah.
Oh,
No, it was nice. It was a really easy scene, and like it was nice to just go from do nothing basically, and then build up to the big bits.
it happened really quickly. I was watching season 1 of Sex Education with all my friends. This was on the day it came out, and we walked down the street to get snacks. I think I was in my pajamas, and I walked down and someone went, "Oh my God, Sex Education. I love that show." And I thought it was out about 3 hours ago. And I was like, I'm on like episode 3. What the hell? That was surreal. That's when I realized it might be quite life-changing.
I think for me it was when I was going to a nail shop and I just entered, and then people just like started looking at me, and I was just like, "What do you want? Are you trying to fight me?" I thought we were about to tussle. I forgot that I was on such a big show, and it was that, and they were like, "You're from Sex Education?" I'm like, "Oh yeah." I calmed down. I was like, "Yeah, I am." Lovely to meet you. I think that was my first moment with a fan. One of my first paychecks, I went to the Vivienne Westwood store with my friend Shiv, and I was just like, I'm gonna buy something here, whatever the cost. And I saw this jacket and I was just like in love with it. And I remember calling my agent. I was like, "What do you think about this?" And he was like, "Yeah, it's nice, buy it." And then I bought it, and I've never worn it since. But I love Vivienne Westwood. That was my big purchase.
My first big spend. Do you know what? I remember getting a pair of trainers, and I can't remember exactly what they were now, but it was like the first time, when you go into a shop and you go over to the till and they say this ridiculous price for a pair of trainers. And I was like, yeah.
Yeah, you didn't wince. I think my first audition was to get into National Youth Theatre. And I think I was about 13, really young. And I picked the most random monologue. I can't even remember it. It didn't suit me at all. It was for I think the character that I was playing was 50, but it was really dramatic. So I was like, oh, they obviously want this. They want to see some drama.
Yeah.
And I went into that audition and I was terrible looking back at it. But at the time I thought I was the best thing. And I didn't get in that time, and fair enough. I wouldn't have given me a place. But the second time I did get in, and now we're here.
My first audition was for Oxford School of Drama foundation course. My drama teacher, bless her, she had great intentions, but she did a kind of monologue workshop with me where we picked the monologue. And it was the same thing. It's all the stuff that you think that you now know, don't do that you kind of should do something that just really suits you, and no accents and all that stuff. Just be yourself effectively. I did my Shakespeare and a Somerset accent, and then I did a really, really dramatic monologue, so grim, about a baby that died. And it was a lot.
I used to work at Burger King. I think it made me realise the hard work that goes into making a burger, and also makes me realise not to eat it.
Yeah, I can imagine. Oof. My first job was handing out flyers. One thing I learned was that people don't want flyers. when someone takes one, you're like, thank you so much, because nobody wants that. And I do it now. Now I'll just take things. I don't know who that is. I'm so sorry. My first kiss was in my nursery. There was a boy called Adam. We must have been married in a past life. We sat next to each other and we just had this cosmic connection. We were like holding hands, and we acted like a grown-up couple. It was really weird. And we used to sit in nursery and they'd be like story time, and we'd just be sat at the back kissing.
How old are you at nursery?
Like 4.
And you had a cosmic connection?
Oh yeah, it was weird. It was weird.
I think my hand, you know, right? Surely that's that practice. I think the first time we learned about sex in school was when I was like 13, 14, and we did like a sex education class. I remember them pulling out like a banana to put on like the condom, and I was like, this is not realistic, is it? But it was good, and I think I learned a lot of stuff from like Friends, 50 Shades of Grey.
I think my first time was with this really quite shy, sweet teacher, and he was trying to talk about sex, and it was just painful to watch. And this boy, who was a bit cheeky, he put his hand up and he went, I watched a video of a woman licking a man's penis. Why would she be doing that? And this man just went bright red and was like, well, because there's lots of nerve endings in a penis, and it might have felt nice. I remember why that was weird, because it was the first time that pleasure had been spoken about. We were all just laughing so much, but also all bright red. Oof, God, and poor Mr. Taylor. The first movie I remember properly absorbing was a film called A Simple Wish, and it had the little girl who plays Matilda. She gets a fairy godmother, but it's a fairy godfather. I remember watching that at it was always at my nana's house. I'd watch the same films over and over again. Also Grease, which I think explains a lot for our generation. Why were we all watching Grease at 4? So odd, so inappropriate.
I think the first movie I watched was All Dogs Go to Heaven.
Oh, I loved it.
Yeah, that was a sad film. But I don't think I ever like internalized it then. But now looking back, I was just like, wow, why were you watching that by yourself? First book I remember reading was The Coldest Winter Ever by Sister Soldier. That book is amazing. Yeah, it's about like this teen going through a lot. Her dad's like a drug dealer. Her mum gets scarred, so it changes her whole life. It's a really interesting book. I remember that. And maybe the Tracy Beaker stuff, like Jacqueline Wilson. I remember that, like Candy Floss.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. The ones that I remember reading were the Jacqueline Wilson books. All my friends were like, Harry Potter, Harry Potter. I remember just not liking it because I think I was going through quite a tough time, and I was like, but we're not going to go to Hogwarts, and things like that don't happen. Whereas Jacqueline Wilson was always writing about divorces.
Yeah.
And like she was writing about realities.
The real stuff.
So I think Jacqueline Wilson books were they were the ones. My first role model, I think, was my mum. She could just work a room and she could like dazzle a room, and she was so funny, and she could do all these different funny voices. And then like my teacher, Mrs. Petrie at school, she was an amazing role model. Yeah, she was just so creative and so herself. She was one of those teachers that really truly inspired her students, which I think is rare, but she just knew us all so well. Like on our last day of school, she got us all notebooks, and she put on the front, Aimee Wood, ideas for stand-up, because she thought I might be a comedian or something. Like she put an individual thing on everyone's so that we all felt seen. So I think she was a pretty good role model.
I'm going to say Beyonce, because, oh wow, everyone watched Coachella. I just think what she put into that show and the effort, the amount of time, rehearsals, just showed how strong she is.
Virgo Queen.
Yeah.
Thanks, Team Vogue.
And I hope you enjoyed some of our firsts.
Remember to watch Sex Education.
Thank you.
Thank you.